everyone. Today's video I'll be showing this fun carved stone effect. I got this by using some stone or sand textured polish, gel polish that I got off of AliExpress, and these silicone molds. They're 3D. They produce these 3D images, especially when you use gel polish in them. This one has deeper cut designs in them, and this is the one that I'll be using for the nail that I'll show you in this video. And they have these other smaller designs as well. I used this color here. They call it sugar color. This is the number 1. Comes in a set of 12. This was the closest to the stone look that I wanted. They have pinks and blues and grays and like kind of a green color, and so you can certainly choose whatever you like. Now for this video I'm showing you one method of using these. There's multiple ways to use these, but basically what I did is I created a decal using the gel polish and then painting that fast dry polish over the back. And these looked best with a matte top coat, and I'll show you an example of a nail that I did with the shiny over it, and you'll see the difference. I did use a non-acid primer, and this was to ensure that we get good adhesion of our decal with the nail, on the nail around the perimeter, and you'll also need a piece of cling wrap. So to start with our nail, I'm starting with a clear gel tip. I always primer my nails before I start with any gel polishes. I've done this for years now. Don't need a base coat. I like that it gets the stickiness that you need without the bulkiness of a base coat. So we're just going to paint an even coat with our gel polish here. I did notice that if you keep brushing this, it deposits or settles more of that texture, whatever that, I guess this black micro glitter. There's also some other shiny glitter in there as well. It deposits more of that on the nail, so if you prefer to have something that's a little more subtle looking, then don't overbrush it. So taking our 3D mold here, I'm simply painting some of our polish in here. I'm going to get about 2/3 down the image, and then I'm going to come in with my scraper and then scrape that polish down into the lower part. If it's not enough, like in this instance, just go ahead and come back in with a little bit more of your polish. You don't want to scrape too much. You do, unless you want a flatter image. Go ahead and just lightly scrape over the top, just like that. And that's ready to go ahead and cure. I cured that in the lamp for 30 seconds, right side up. And what I've found, especially with this polish, is that when I would peel it out, it would still be a little bit wet on the top side of the image. So I would turn it over and pop it back in the lamp for 30 seconds more. So that's what I did here. Now again, using the regular top coat allows this decal to have a little more flexibility. I found that using a gel top coat, and I tried several, it made it a little bit too firm. So here I'm applying the second coat of this after I let the first one dry, and then once this dries completely, I gave it about maybe 3-4 minutes for it to completely dry. Now we're ready to go ahead and peel that out of the mold. I found the easiest way to do this was simply to kind of fold it and then start rolling the silicone off of the image. Some of those finer line designs, some of those kind of trellis designs that's on the other mold tended to tear easily, especially if there was no top coat over the back of it. And there you have your perfectly placed decal. And again, I'm doing this because I want to keep the entire image intact. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do the top coat over the back. You can place individual pieces if you want, because that's what's going to happen. If you cure that without the top coat on the back, it's going to come out in individual pieces. So here I'm just doing a very thin coat of the matte top coat over our nail. I'm making sure to brush around the perimeter. I'll make sure that this will stick appropriately. And at this point, you just get your plastic wrap handy as well. So just pick up your decal and place it on the nail in the position that you would like it. And once you get it into position, see, it kind of slips off the nail a little bit. If you use a lot of top coat, that's going to slip slide around even more. So just use a little bit. You don't need a lot. And you can see that if you didn't use the plastic wrap, it would be a little difficult to get this to conform around the nail. So grab your plastic and we're going to just place it over the top of that decal, and we're going to press it all around the edges of the nail. This may be a little more difficult if you are, say, applying this on nails that are already applied to your own nail. This is much easier to do in the instance of, say, doing these as a press-on nail, say. So with the plastic wrap, you can see you can get it conformed really tightly around the nail. Now, holding on to it with both hands, I popped that under the light for 30 seconds. And now I'm ready to go ahead and peel the plastic away. But again, if you were to do this onto your own nail, it might be better to try and trim away most of this excess into the shape of your nail, or whichever portion of the nail that you're going to place this on, and then wrap it in the plastic. So I'm just taking my nippers and I'm just going to nip around the perimeter, taking out the excess decal. Now, I like to be sure that the edges don't protrude out very much. I don't like the look of that personally on my own nails. I'd like an even edge all the way around. So coming back through with my nippers, I just kind of shave a little bit off those edges. I don't completely cut them off. I just kind of shave them down to where they get a little bit more conformed to the edge. And if you find that you have any edges that are lifting up, just place a little more of that base gel down, wrap it in plastic and put it back in the lamp, and it'll stick just fine. So this little area here on the side, I didn't like that it was blank, so I'm going to come in with just a few extra pieces that I've torn away from the main decal. I'm going to place those in, and again, just a little bit of the matte top coat will be just fine. I'm going to place that little piece in there, place another one near the top. Now again, you don't have to make sure it lies completely flat right here. You're going to wrap it in the plastic again. Make sure the new pieces that you put down are flat. Cure that, and you can see it looks like it was just all part of the main thing there. So I like to come around and do a nice kind of etching around the sides. That will give your matte top coat something to grip to. And once I've done that, I'll also come back with the primer. And the primer, again, will help with the matte sticking. It will also help dissolve that regular polish a little bit and make it kind of dissolve into the base color that we did for extra adhesion. So we're going to do one more coat of our matte top coat. Now for this, I'm keeping it a very light coating. I just want to make sure that the shininess of the decal goes away. We don't want to flood those areas. We want to retain the 3D look here for that carved look. So if you find any areas that have a little bit too much, just come through. Wipe your brush off after each time. Get little hairs out. Make sure you go around the perimeter, and that's ready to cure. I cure the ugly duckling for 60 seconds. Now it does have a tacky layer, so I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to make sure that I'm just using some alcohol here. I'm going to get into those little nooks and crannies. And there you have your carved stone look. So as you can see, it's really not that difficult to do. The only difficult part is really finding this type of polish. The only place I was really able to find it was at AliExpress, and of course I'll leave a link to it down below. I also like that even though it's so 3D looking, that it's relatively low profile on the nail, so it's not intrusive or gaudy. Now these are the ones again that I use, the K3D 1, 2, and 4. I believe there is a 3. There's a set on Amazon, which I'll link to, that has a third or fourth set rather, and it has kind of some holiday designs. I think I noticed some Christmas designs, spider webs and such. And I'll link to that. And I just wanted to show you an example of another one that I bought that I do not like at all. First of all, it's like almost triple the thickness of the red one. It's very squishy, and I bought it for these rose designs, but you can see, at least I hope you can here, it's got these jagged edges all around the design. And no matter how well you scrape, it comes out with these jagged looking edges on almost all the all the roses at least that I tried. Not attractive to me at all. It didn't look good at all. Some of the smaller flowers might work, so I'm not going to completely toss it out, but I did not like it for this purpose. Here are just a few more examples of what I did. These are some tone-on-tone white ones, just as pretty. Actually, that's not a white. That's actually the palest lavender color. And there's that center one. That's the rose design that came off of the smaller nail-sized designs from this mold. Now that size right there was just barely enough to cover that center nail, just so you can see just how much that'll take. And you don't have to do tone on tone. You can do different colors as well if you like. Now this mold has these smaller kind of lacy or trellis style designs that are all kind of interconnected, so you can peel them off in one piece without having to use the top coat on the back. And that's what I did here. I just did an ombre with white. I did an all over white on white there, and then same design I did here, just in that kind of lime color over a milky white. Now I told you before about how it looks best with the matte top coat. So here is a sample of one I did with shiny top coat, and I mean, while it's still nice and you can still get kind of the 3D look, it just loses some of the look of it to me. So again, I just prefer the matte. You can certainly do whichever your choice is. So as far as cleaning your templates, the best way that I found, now you can use alcohol, but if you have any of the top coat that's left over, alcohol won't clean it off. So I just used acetone. It doesn't hurt the silicone, and it just gets in with the gel polish just fine as well. And I used a stiff bristle nail brush to just kind of scrub around in there and remove those little bits that are left, and try to get it all out of the mold and just let it air dry. I found that going over it with even these so-called lint-free wipes and paper towels just left a ton of lint. If you've worked with silicone before, you know that silicone can be just a lint magnet. And, you know, wiping it around, wiping paper towels all over it just caused even more lint to get into the image. As you can see here, it's just all over the place. So just use the nail brush and your either alcohol or acetone and let it air dry, and you'll be fine. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the demonstration. You can see the possibilities using these molds. I will leave links to all of the products that I used. Go ahead and check below for that. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them below for me as well. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Until next time, see you guys later.